So I've asked Brother Hilt if he would bring the lesson tonight. Brother Hilt, if you mind coming and sharing that with us, sir, thank you so much.
All right, hope you're all doing well. If you want to turn to Ephesians chapter 6. Tim, can you read this? I think it's Ephesians 6:12. Start us off. Yep, 6:12. Gotta wait for it to download.
6:12?
Yeah.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
All right. Just keep that in the back of your mind. So in this life, you're going to be tested all the time. Like God is going to test you. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's never going to stop. So, and does it get easier? No, it doesn't get easier. So, well, Lord, how come I'm going through this? What's going on? He's getting you ready for the next one. Count on it. Why? He just read it. And you're not going to get, the only way to survive was we'll find out here tonight. And we'll look at, so Israel was tested 4 times, and 4 times they failed miserably. They flunked bad. So why do we care what happened to Israel 3,000 years ago, or however long it was ago? What does that have to do with me? Well, it's the Word of God. It's in the Bible. It's the same God. It's the same world. So we will look at why they failed and lessons learned that we can take away. Failure number 1. They were in Egypt, and was that their home country? No, they were slaves in Egypt, and it was bad. And they kept Moses, Aaron, go to the Lord and say, get us out of here. And Moses and Aaron did. And what did God say? He goes, yes, tell the people you're going to be delivered. And the people and they told the people that. God said he's going to deliver you. So what did they expect was going to happen? We're going to be delivered. This is great. That was why wouldn't it be? What would your expectation be? You're delivered. It's going to happen. Let's see what happened. Test number 1. Oh, man, these tests come from God. I mean, when he tests, he wants to see what you're really made of. You say you're like that? Let's see how good you really are. So, Exodus chapter 4, verse 28. See, Brett, you want to read Exodus 4, 28 through 31. All right, they're worshiping God. It's great. They believe they're worshiping God. All right, let's see. Eli, you want to read Exodus 5, 7 through 9? Actually, start in verse 6 through 9.
And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, "You shall no more give the people straw to make brick, as heretofore let them go and gather straw for themselves, and the tail of the bricks which they did make heretofore ye shall lay upon them, ye shall not diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, Let us go and sacrifice to our God. Let there more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain works."
What is going on? They didn't get from the children, from Israel's point of view, did they get delivered? Not even. It went from bad to worse. It's like, this is insane. And what was their reaction? This is their failure. They looked at the circumstance. They were going to be delivered. God said, I'm going to deliver you. And then this happened. This is bad. Lord, what would your reaction be? I'd be with them. Lord, what's going on? This is bad. We're going to die. They're killing us. And they were killing them. They were slave laborers. Chuck, you wanted Exodus chapter 5:14.
And the officers of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and demanded, "Wherefore have you not fulfilled your task in making brick, both yesterday and today, as heretofore?"
Did they get weekends off? Did they have OSHA on their side? Did they have benefits? No. How many hours a day do you think this went on? 16? Who knows? And the next day, back out. Get back out there. And they were tortured. We're supposed to be delivered. And they complained, and they complained. They failed the test. What should they have done? We'll see. Lesson learned. Israel failed. I'll read it. And the officer of the children of Israel did see that they were in evil case after it was said, "Ye shall not minish aught from your bricks of your daily task." And they met Moses and Aaron, who stood in the way, as they came forth from Pharaoh. They said unto them, "The Lord look," this is Israel, the leaders of Israel talking to Moses and Aaron, "The Lord look upon you and judge, because you have made our Savior to be abhorred in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to slay us." This is what they should have done. Lesson learned. What did Moses do? Yeah, you guys are right. Moses' response, this is what we need to do. This is the takeaway from the first test. And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, "Lord." Then he went on to say what he said. So what should have their response been? Lord, this is bad. It's okay to say that. Lord, this is bad. And it was bad. But always go to the Lord. Your expectation contradicted what they looked for. That's okay. Lord, this isn't what I prayed for. This isn't working out like it needs to. This isn't playing out right. Lord, what's going on? It's okay to say that. But, Lord, it doesn't matter. There's always a way out with you. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to be okay with it. I mean, it's your reaction. You pray for things, and the thing is, they're not always going to play out like you need them to, you want them to. Loved ones are going to die. This is going to happen, whatever. But you need to be okay with it, because God is on your side, and it's okay. In the long run, it's okay. Just remember that. Israel failed this test, and it was hard. It was brutally hard. What if you're out there and I think it was like 102. I looked at Cairo, Egypt today. It was 102. They're out there, no water. They're being tortured. They failed the test. So the takeaway is always look to the Lord. Say, "Lord, this is bad, but I'm going to trust you some way, somehow." Some valuable lessons. There's a bunch of them. Pastor, you want to read Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31? They needed to wait. We need to wait on the Lord. Easier said than done.
But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint.
That's a lot, right? What's going to happen if you wait on the Lord? He just read it. What's going to happen? Renew your strength. Were these people weak? When you're going through a trial and do you get weakened? It's like, oh man. Or you go, yeah, this is, if you try to do it on your own, you're done. You just get steamrolled. Why? What Tim read at the beginning, we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's who you're going up against. Always. But the Lord's there. Don't fail the test. If you look at it, you're going to fail it. Keep your eyes shut. Lord, this is going on, but you're there, and you're going to take care of it some way, somehow. Not how I think it's going to happen. I told this to Brent yesterday. It's an old joke. There's two brothers. One was a pessimist, and one was an optimist. And the parents said, "What do we do?" So the dad said, "I know. We'll buy the pessimist all the toys there are in the world. There's many ways you can buy and put them in a room, brand new toys. And the optimist will put him in a room with a huge pile of horse manure. And it'll flip around. The pessimist will become an optimist, will be so happy. And the optimist he'll turn into a pessimist. So they did that. And they went into the room. The pessimist had all the toys and he was crying. He said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Someone's going to steal all my toys." Okay. So they went into the room with the optimist, and he was just digging as fast as he can, just digging through that horse manure. They said, "What is going on?" He goes, "There's got to be a pony in here somewhere." He just, it didn't matter what the circumstance, he was looking for good out of something bad. So Brent and I went fishing yesterday, and there's a lot of stories, and I heard him, things happened, okay? And I heard him say, I told him that yesterday, and I heard him say one time, "There's got to be a pony in here somewhere." You got to look at it through God's eyes, not what you see. The second test, anybody know where that was? At the Red Sea. So they were delivered, and to the Red Sea they went. Test number 2. What happened there? You guys all know what happened there. There they were. They just were delivered. A miraculous delivery. God miraculously delivered them. They should have died in Egypt, and they didn't. Now they're at the brink of the Red Sea. It's right there, but they can't cross. And what do they see? What's going on? Test number 2. They see the Egyptian army coming, more than them. God delivered them out of the first test. Now here's the second test. Exodus 14:2. Back in Exodus. Chapter 14, verse 2. We'll skip that one. Go down to verse 10. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, there they are. There's the Red Sea, but we can't cross. There's no boat. We can't swim across there. It's way too far. And there they are. When Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel, did they go to the Lord in prayer? No. Lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. And they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, "Because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us to carry us forth out of Egypt?" You were being tortured there. He goes, "We're dead here." They failed that test. How did they fail? They saw it's over, right? It's absolutely over. And they saw it was over. No, it's not. With God, nothing is impossible. So, yesterday, Brent and I were fishing out in the Pacific Ocean. It's not calm out there. You're moving up and down, all around. You can't walk in a boat without falling over. That's the way it is out there. And we had our poles and a fishing net. We caught the first one. Brett caught it. It was a big silver salmon, good. It was nice. And then I caught one. We had to throw it back because it's the wrong kind. And we're sitting there in the boat, and we put the net in the back. You can't go salmon fishing in the Pacific Ocean without a nice big salmon net. It's just not going to work. And all of a sudden, Brett said, "Where's the net?" We're looking. It's got to be right. It wasn't there. How could we not? It's not a little net. It's probably this tall and wider than this. It's a huge salmon net. How could we not have seen that thing fall overboard? What are the odds of finding that net in the vast Pacific Ocean? As close to zero as you can get. You cannot find that. There's no way you can find that net. It wasn't any net. It was Kennedy's grandpa's net. Oh, we were bummed out. How do you catch a fish without that net? The net was gone, which was bad enough because of Kennedy's grandpa's net. It was, right? Her friend, his friend that helped him. But anyway. And there's no way, you can't stand up in the boat if you have a fish coming in, you can't grab it because they're super slippery, and there's a hook hanging out of its mouth. If that gets you, it's stitches time. You're messed up. I said, Brett, we can do this. There's got to be a pony in there somewhere, right? And it was my turn to catch a fish. So Brett, you have to be a hero and grab a fish if it comes. Sure enough, as soon as he said, where is the net? Boom, I have a fucking Brett, you need to be a hero. And I was as far back as I could go. I go, I can't go back any farther. I can't reel any farther. Brett, and there it was huge. Yes, huge. Brett, come on, son, stay with it. You can do this. And he grabbed the line and went to grab it. It's just a gigantic, boom, it's gone. Oh, we were so discouraged. We're just fishing, but it was a big deal to us. If we only had that net, it's gone. There's no way that net is gone out in the Pacific somewhere, right? Yeah. So that happened a couple more times. Finally, like the third time, Brett got it in the boat, and it was huge. I go, yes. Now it's my turn. It's his turn to catch one. So it's my turn to try to grab one. And we were going along, and all of a sudden, Brett goes, the net! Right by that door was the net, floating in the Pacific Ocean. The sun, and it was the same color as the Pacific Ocean water. There's nowhere to see it, and it's not going to be anywhere. There it was. The sun was shining off the metal. I'm here, right there. We didn't look for the net. And a few minutes before then, probably 20, 15 minutes earlier, I was thinking, Elisha, the guy was chopping wood with the axe. The axe had fell off. And he cried out, I just borrowed this axe. And the head went in the water. What am I going to do? And Elisha said, he goes, where to go? Over there. And he cut a stick, threw it in, and the iron did swim. 4 words, the iron did swim. And it came back and he grabbed it. And about 20 minutes before that, I was thinking, Lord, I need the iron did swim moment. You know, like this there's no way this net's going to show up. But it did. The net did swim right to us. We didn't go looking. There's nowhere. Where are you going to look for it? So it was impossible to find it. But life is bigger than a fishing net out in the Pacific Ocean. You can go buy a new one for $150. But life's testings and stuff, when it's impossible, there's no way that this can happen. Well, if you have that attitude, if you're not looking for the pony in here somewhere, it's not going to happen. But if you say, Lord, I need the iron did swim moment, anything can happen, and it will. Maybe not turn out like you think or want, but he's going to make it happen better than you think or want. So test number 2, there they were, Lord. They say, hey, we're going to die here in Egypt. Or right here. In verse 13 through 14, and Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. So the valuable lessons here is faith isn't normal or what you expect. Did that guy, when he lost his axe, did he think the iron was going to swim back the axe head's going to swim back to me? That's what's going to happen. No. Hey, faith, when you trust in the Lord, good things are going to happen. He's all powerful. He knows he had that trial come your way to test you. What are you going to do? Don't do what these people did. Ignore your sight. Nothing's impossible with God. And God delivered them out of this, right? They crossed the Red Sea. You know the story. All the Egyptians died and they went across. They failed. Lessons learned. Don't look at the circumstances. Look for the pony somewhere. Think, Lord, there's got to be the iron did swim moment here. Maybe not today. Maybe it will happen today. Test number 3 was in the wilderness. They're in the wilderness. They're in the desert. Can they stop at In-N-Out and get something to eat? Get something to drink? Stop at the store and get some Gatorade. There's nothing. There's no water. There was some water, but it was bitter. Lord, there's no water here. And back they went again. Lord, we're going to die here. We should have stayed in Egypt. That was their failure. Each time it's the same thing. They didn't trust God. They looked at their circumstances. God says, no, that's not it. Exodus 17, 1 through 4. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys, according to the commandment of the Lord. Then it goes on. Verse 3, and the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses. That's their failure. They murmured against Moses, they murmured against God, and said, wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? And Moses cried unto the Lord. That's the lesson takeaway. Nothing's impossible with God. Always go before the Lord. God delivered them again. That's the third time he delivered. They failed miserably. Those tests were hard. But God saw them through it, and he delivered them 3 times in a row. The last test, the 4th test, back to that one. They tried to live by bread and water alone. What did Jesus Christ say? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. They didn't do that. God led them to a foodless, waterless place to show that spiritual needs are better than physical. And they had unexpected relief. Hey, I know, he hit that rock and water's going to come out. Who would have thought that? But that's what God said, hit that rock and water will come out. That's not what they were thinking, but that's the way he delivered them. The last one, the 4th test, was in Sinai. They had to wait to go into the promised land. We get impatient and take matters in our own hands. And they delayed. And go to Exodus 32:1. Moses was up on the mountain with God. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what has become of him. Because Moses didn't come back when they expected him to or they wanted him to, they completely lost it. And they made other gods. They failed to test again. They didn't keep their faith and trust. They didn't keep their eyes on the Lord. My mom always said that, always keep your eyes on the Lord. Okay? Easier said than done. You got to do that. Then it doesn't matter. So value the lesson. Wait for God's blessing. We'll end with this. December 21st, 1998. This is a fighter pilot, United States Air Force, a brisk winter day in Saudi Arabia. I was stationed on my first combat deployment, flying missions enforcing the Iraqi Southern No-Fly Zone. I was scheduled to take off on only the 4th combat sortie of my career, inexperienced and quite nervous. It was a mission I'll never forget. I was flying that day with my flight lead, Lieutenant Colonel Haas. So he was the lead plane, and his Lieutenant Colonel, who was his boss, was the wingman who watches out for the lead guy. And you have to have confidence in your wingman. So at the end here, who's your wingman? He had total confidence in his wingman. That's his eyes and ears, watching out for everything, so he can focus on what he has to do. Our F-16s were charged with sanitizing the airspace of any enemy aircraft that might be crossing the restricted area. It could have been a routine patrol or not. Suddenly, our radios blared with an urgent call from the radar ground controller. Viper flight, you got a MiG-23, 150 miles off your nose, headed south. Hostile. MiG-23 is a Russian fighter jet. This meant the MiG had crossed the no-fly zone and was headed towards us and the fuel tankers we were in charge of protecting. A split second later, my headset erupted with a call from Haas. Viper flight, commit. Go, now. Almost unconsciously, I pushed up my throttle, full throttle, to afterburner and started to climb as I struggled to stay in perfect formation with Haas. There is no turning back. And he goes on to say how the mission turned out. But it was time. There was no looking at the circumstances, oh, this isn't going to work out. It was full throttle afterburner. I have Haas, my wingman. I have total faith that we're going to, his point is, who's your wingman? Who's your point? And the answer is God. And you're going through life when you're full throttle, uncertain as can be, have confidence in your wingman. He's not the one doing the flying, dropping the bombs or pulling the things. You are. But he's your wingman watching out for you, making sure that that things are cleared out for you. If things need to be cleared out for this guy, Haas, his wingman, would have called in other fighters to make it happen. So, takeaway tonight is, who's your wingman? Hopefully it's the Lord, no matter what. Always look for the pony. And the iron will swim. The iron did swim moment. All right, it's time to go. They're done. It's after 8. Thanks.